So we've spoken about the terms of the contract. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about what's going to happen now that we have an accepted offer. So my name is Mitzi Newman, and I'm with Century 21 Liberty here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So we've talked about the home buying process and the terms of the contract. Now I want to talk about what's going to happen once your offer has been accepted, okay? So what's going to happen is once the seller has accepted your offer, I am going to send a copy of the contract over to your lender as well as the attorney that you're using. The reason for that is, one, your lender needs to have that executed contract so that they can start their file, so that you can do your application and they can start ordering the appraisal and doing underwriting. Now I'm sending it to the attorney because the attorney, one, is going to many times receive the earnest money, so they need to have a copy of the contract in order to receive that earnest money. They also are going to start doing what's called a title search, and that title search is going to check back and see on the property if there's been any liens on the property, if there's any issues with, say, the legal description, anything like that. And they need some time to do that. So both your lender and your attorney are going to get copies of that executed contract. I am also at that time going to generally go ahead and schedule a home inspection for you. I have possibly 3 home inspectors that I generally use. I always ask you if you'd like to use your own home inspector or if you'd like to use one of the ones that I generally use. So at that time, I'll set up the home inspection. I'll also go ahead and order what's called a WDIR. That's your wood destroying insect report. So we're going to order that because we're going to see if there's any termite damage. While we're doing that, we've set up the home inspection. The home inspection is the home inspector is going to go through, and he or she is going to go through the entire house. They have a templated report, generally between 75 to 150 pages, that points to every system in the house. So whether that system is working correctly or not, the appraiser or the inspector is going to actually comment on that. So let's say the hot water heater is working awesome. There's no problems at all. The home inspector is still actually going to look at that and comment that, hey, you know, it's within its lifespan. It's working fine. Might have a little rust on it, something minor like that. But he or she is going to comment on that. Now, they're absolutely going to look at the HVAC. Make sure that, hey, you know, are the lines insulated? They're going to run it, test it out, make sure it's working. They're going to let you know, if it's past its lifespan. They're going to tell you if it's within its lifespan, if it looks new. But we're going to get, like I said, usually a 75 to 150 page report. And what's going to happen during that time, after we get that report, is we're going to do what's called a due diligence request. That due diligence request, we are going to ask the sellers to make repairs. Now I'll get more into that when we're, up front and personal, because I don't want to give away all our negotiating tricks, okay? I got you guys, I promise on that. So we're going to ask for them to make the repairs. Fast forward to they agreed to make the repairs. So now what's going to happen is you are going to maintain constant contact with that lender. That lender is going to be asking you for paperwork, things like your W-2s, your 1099, your tax returns, employment verification, things like that. And you want to make sure that you get those to your lender as soon as possible. Reason being is if there's a 4 or 5 day delay, that could delay your closing. So while you're working with the lender, I'm helping you with the repairs and stuff. Once the repairs are negotiated, we've agreed on the repairs, what's going to happen is the seller is going to go and get those repairs done. Once those are done, we are going to have the home inspector go back and review those repairs. Make sure that they're done in a professional-like way. Once we agree that he's signed off on those are done professionally, now we're going to do what's called a walkthrough. And this is just going to be a day or two before closing. We're just going over to the house and we're going to look at it, make sure that there's been no graffiti, the house hasn't been broken into, a fire hasn't started. We just want to make sure that it's in the same condition as when we wrote that offer. So that if it's not, then we need to go back to the seller and, you know, possibly renegotiate or something. But we want to make sure we know that that house is in the same condition as when we saw it. Or better. Better's always good, right? But so the next thing is we're going to get what's called clear to close from our lender. What that means is that you have received a document with your closing disclosure telling you all of the fees associated with the transaction. At that point, I'm going to set up an appointment with the closing attorney, and you as the buyer and I as your agent are going to meet at the closing attorney's office. At that point, you're going to sit down and they're going to go over a whole lot of documents. A lot of them are going to repeat. You're going to have your closing disclosure just like you had that your lender showed you. You're going to have a copy of your termite report that you're going to possibly sign. You're going to have a copy of your loan application that you're going to re-sign. You're going to have a copy of your tax returns agreeing that you had those sent. It generally takes about 45 minutes. And then what's going to happen is once you're done with that and the seller has signed off on their part for closing, the deed is going to be recorded down at the County Register of Deeds. And generally, if your closing is in the morning, that will record by the end of the day. If it records by the end of the day, then you're okay. You'll get your keys, usually around like 4 o'clock. Now, if we have a closing at, say, 4 o'clock, it probably won't close until the next morning or record till the next morning. So you may not get your keys until in the afternoon that next day. So I always try and do an early morning closing if I know that you guys have to get into the house. To prepare for the closing, like I said, we're going to do the walkthrough. And on you guys' side, you need to schedule your utilities, garbage pickup, water, gas, heat, all that type of stuff, okay? That's all on you guys. And of course, you'll want to change your mailing address. I'm sure there's a few other things too. We'll think of them together, okay? But so we're getting excited now. We're close to closing. And I hope that I get to talk to you guys soon, and I'd love to assist you in purchasing a home. So if you guys have any more questions, we've already gone over the home buying process. We've gone over the terms of the contract, and now we've talked about the closing and the offer process. So if you guys have any questions, you need anything at all, give me a call, give me a shout, text me, Facebook me, and it's www.facebook.com/MitziIsMyAgent. My phone number is 910-978-2337. My email is mitziismyagent@gmail.com. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.